Right.
Hi,
Hello, everybody. We're back, and Val's back with us this week.
Yes, I am. Finally, I've been gone a while.
You have been gone for a while, but
I'm back now.
Good.
For at least this week.
All's good, anyways. And we're Flameworking, and we're running a little bit late, but a lot going on here at Delphi. So and then we spent the last 2 to 3 minutes just discussing what we're going to be doing.
Right.
So, but we decided.
Too bad you couldn't have heard that.
Man,
that was
stuff.
Very informative.
Next time I'll go live and make a blooper reel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what we're doing, we had some requests to do a Flameworking, like an introduction to Flameworking. So the way we thought we'd do it is just to show a couple of the torches that we use. Basically, these are the two. Not.
Yeah, probably.
These are the two that we use. I mean, there's lots of other ones out there, but. In fact, I'm real proud of this one. These are new, and this is the Bravo, and by Bethlehem. And so it's really, it's a little bit bigger, a little bit more set up. So sometimes it's not the first torch people get, and so then we have this one set up that we also teach, and I teach a lot of the beginning bead classes on that, and the blown ornaments on this, and I like to use it and I like to show it, and actually I'll demo it here in a minute. But what's really nice about this torch is that you can do a lot. I mean, you can do anywhere from small little beads up to some sculptural things, and so the setup is what makes, I think, it real user friendly. Mm-hmm. It is not the hottest thing out there, so ventilation isn't as much of an issue. Eye protection isn't quite as much of an issue. I mean, the recommendation for this torch now is just simply something to cover your eyes, because the nature of some of the soft glass we use does tend to pop and spit a little bit. So so that's kind of minimal, and then this fact that it's not all that expensive. I mean, you basically buy the torch head. I don't even know what. $50 or $60, 60. Oh, I don't know. It's been a while
we didn't
since.
look at the price. Sorry, but
we didn't look at the price.
But it's called a hothead, right? Is what the brand is.
It's all brass. This is really, really a good way to start.
Quality, right?
Yeah, really high quality. If you don't, want to get into, I don't know, Kayla can pan, but with this torch, I mean, you do have hoses and regulators and oxygen tanks, and my propane tanks. Gas tank is under here, so it becomes a little more involved, but then it also becomes quite a bit more expensive. So this is a good way to get set up for probably not much more than $100. Yeah. Just to see if you really like it, or if you don't like it. Or I know people who just stay on this torch their whole time making beads, because that's what they want to do, is make beads, and they don't want the hassle of all the extra stuff. So
and it runs on just one tank of gas.
Yeah,
right?
And then this is easy to find. It's a tank that we get it at the building supply places, like do I just say big box, or can I actually say the names?
I say big box.
I know you do, and I don't really like that. No. Can I just say Menards and Lowe's and Home Depot?
Nope, they don't. They don't sponsor us.
I can't say that. Okay, well.
You can.
Okay, well, I'll just call it the big box store then. So.
But it's not very expensive for the tank of gas,
no,
right?
it's not. It's I don't even know. Everything's more expensive now,
like
right? Every
$15
time,
maybe?
Yeah, I think probably under, actually.
Oh, you're still under 15?
Yeah, but it is real convenient. So this just screws in. You just, when you run out of the gas, you just replace it with another one.
So how you got it attached here?
Yeah, so we sell this little setup, right? That comes with this hose clamp and a little bent L bracket.
Mm-hmm. And what else do we have there?
You have a C-clamp, but it doesn't come with a C-clamp, does it?
I think so.
It does?
Maybe. I have to check.
I love how we are just
boy, are we
right on top of all this.
We know everything that we sell, right?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it does include the C-clamp. We'll just see.
Oh, I think you might be right.
I think I might be.
I think you're right.
I do.
It's like Val does Flameworking from time to time.
Yeah, I've kind of run
the point
into
is, anyways, it's a really easy setup, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's not all that expensive, and you can just attach it to any kind of table. You'll see we have these ceramic tiles on the table just because you want some kind of flame-proof surface.
Yeah.
And you can a lot of times pick up some cheap ceramic tiles and use that.
We do also have a heat-resistant surface.
Oh man, we do have a
sell.
heat-resistant surface that we don't have in here, right? That works pretty well.
Yep.
So anyways, everything you need right at Delphi.
Right.
Is that how?
There you go. So that's what we did. We set this up, and we just wanted to show you kind of the difference between the two. We also talked about, I mean, for anybody who knows about soft glass versus a glass that's much harder, mainly what we use is borosilicate. So that to use the borosilicate, you would need this kind of a torch. You wouldn't actually need this big a one, but you would need your own source of oxygen. Whereas this one just has these holes drilled out, which, by the way, is what modifies it and makes it different than the ones you use to sweat copper. Because a lot of people ask me that, if they can use those. And I always say...
You're talking about the holes
Yep.
here, right?
Yep. I always say, well, you know, lots of people have those at home from whatever. If you want it, I mean, try it. If it works for you and you get the results you want. What tends to happen sometimes is because there isn't enough oxygen being pulled into the flame, you might have some issues with leaching out some of the colors in the glass, and you could get this kind of sooty. So, you know, but if that's what you got,
probably
you
not
want to
as
try it.
hot though, too. Also,
I
would you
don't
think
know,
so?
because I've really never used it. So I would guess not, but I really don't know. But I just always say, I don't know, try it. You know, I don't have one at home. Else I would try it and see if it works the same. But I kind of am in a place where I don't really need to.
I mean, this one works so well, right? Why we don't need the reason to try.
Right, I got enough of this stuff around at home. I don't need to be looking for something else to use. So, okay. So what do you want to? Do you want to talk about something else?
Denise says,
No.
thank you for explaining.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, and as always, if you guys have questions, I mean, feel free to make a comment in the section below, or you can reach out to us. You can message us on Instagram or Facebook, or you can email us at Facebook at Delphi Glass.
We have no cheat sheet in here.
No cheat sheets in this room.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in our Flameworking room here at Delphi. So this is where Val teaches all the Flameworking classes, and you can see the large hood in here. Because there is a little bit of, you know, off-gassing that has to get
a little, but especially
about.
when you get up bigger and hotter, then the ventilation becomes more of an issue. So that's...
But you're staying on this small one, not as critical.
Clean air, you need clean air exchange, and we don't have windows or a way to bring it in here, but this hood does that for us. So, yes, but, you know, carbon monoxide detectors are actually very reasonably priced, and that's what I always tell people in class. Because, you know, when I say, well, make sure it's a big enough area, make sure you have clean air coming in, and it still can make some people a little nervous, because anytime you burn a fuel, you're going to have a byproduct of carbon monoxide. So this is pretty, like I said, once again, pretty user-friendly, so it isn't extreme. But I always tell people, if you're really, you know, not sure, just buy one of those, plug it in,
great idea.
where you're going to be doing your flame working, and if it goes off, then you know, you've got to open a window, blow a fan, clean, you know, you have to make an adjustment. So it can be kind of easy to figure out if you're okay or not. So, but like I said, pretty minimal. So, so what we thought we'd do is, I can turn this on so you can see it, and I can make a quick little bead or something so you can see it. And then what we thought would be fun to do is we're going to have Roy make a bead, because Roy's not that experienced with it. And so we thought that would be kind of fun for, I don't know, maybe not.
Maybe not for me, maybe.
Yeah, maybe for us,
for
though,
you
right?
guys, right? For Val especially.
Yeah, especially for me. But I'm going to have him use this torch just because of the noise level. This one is so loud. So I just want to say that up front. I don't want to minimize how great I think this is a way to start. I mean, I think I worked on this torch when I learned. I think I worked on it for almost 4 years before I went to anything hotter.
Invested in something, yeah.
Yeah, and I actually think I had a torch for a year before I ever set it up. So I understand all that sort of apprehension, and it can be a lot. But we're always willing to help you with that too. Once you know, if you have questions about that, we always have an opinion.
We do?
Yeah, we do. So this one...
So you're going to do something on this one.
I'm going to do something on this, and then we'll swap out. But like I said, just remember, this is not... Swapping into this is just for the sheer noise. This one will be much quieter, and then you can hear me criticize him better.
Great.
I'm not going to.
Maybe I should do it on this one. So
they can't hear me.
Totally silent. Yeah, I mean, they can't hear you.
Okay, so like I told you, on this one, I don't need to wear didymiums, which I will on this one, and you don't either. But
No.
and I don't care. You don't really need them if you're not going to get close enough. But do I have my other ones anywhere, people?
Your glasses here.
Good.
Your reading glass or your glasses.
That's what yeah, thank you. Exactly. Gee.
Thanks, Kaylee.
And
Man, if it
you're-
wasn't for
right,
Kaylee.
and yours are right there.
Thanks.
So if you need them.
Yeah, I'll go grab them. Just
Okay. All right. Okay, so like I told you, this is going to be loud. I can kind of try to talk and see if it
Might have to
matters.
Kind of yell a little.
Yeah, but so when I light this, I always tell people too, if I don't remember to tell them about how you have to kind of sneak up on it, you blow it out. So if you light your match and you put it out here and turn it on, it's going to blow it out, which sometimes in class, if I forget, I look over and someone has a little pile of matches, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I forgot. Strikers are a real common way that people say you should light your torch. I don't know if you know what those are, a little flint and a little handheld thing that you click.
Like we did in science class with
on the
for a
Bunsen burner. Yeah.
you bet.
But the flint wears down, and then it's like people are just click, 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 and then all of a sudden it'll spark. And I've had people almost literally flip over backwards because it's startling because you don't know which,
when it's going
So I feel like, I don't know that a lot of people use matches, but I feel like they're a little more humane for beginners, So, because you'll hear it when it lights, it really whooshes, like really loud. That's a technical term. Okay, so what I'm going to do is turn my gas on and then let just crawl up the base so that it doesn't have a chance to blow it out. Okay. So, I didn't talk much about this. These are the mandrels that are basically the stainless steel sticks that you wrap the glass around. I have a bead release on it. Should I show that? So, this is what I'm using today. This is from ABR, but it's basically, for you that don't know, it's like coating the stainless steel like you would coat things like with a kiln wash, or like you would grease a pan when you're baking a cake. I mean, it's a barrier between the steel and the glass, which you need, else you'd never get it off. The hot glass will, the hot glass would basically weld to the stainless steel if we didn't have it. I'm just kind of trying to make sure my bead release is dry. And then once the mandrel looks like it's dry, I'm going to introduce my glass rod. So it's like a two-handed thing, right? So in order to get this glass to stick to the mandrel, they both have to be hot. The stainless has to be hot, so does this glass. Otherwise, they just don't stick together. So when I get my glass good and soft, so I'm rolling my mandrel up above just to keep it warm. So I'm kind of waiting on my glass, right? So now it's starting to move a little bit. So the way I do it is, right now, I'm going to drop below the flame, stick that on there, draw it back, and then I wind. And I'm just going to use up what's soft. And when it stiffens up like that, I'm just going to wave it through and let it separate. So now that I have this glass on the mandrel, it has to stay warm. So I put it back out here just to keep the heat on it while I melt more. And this is just, you just repeat this process until you get enough glass on there that you want to utilize. So
I noticed that you're in a certain part of the flame. I mean, you're not like right up against where the brass nozzle is.
No, I don't know how well it shows up, but
You can see the blue color.
You see the blue, yeah.
Okay. The blue cone is actually the place of the flame that has the least amount of oxygen, so it's really not ever a place I want to be in. Because I talked about how sometimes the reduced oxygen can cause some issues with your colors. So the hottest part of this flame is at the top of the blue cone. So from there out, it's going to get cooler. So sometimes when I want to keep something warm, I kind of put it back out here sort of like the back burner, and that keeps enough heat splashing on it. See how quick I can get it to glow? So we know it's carrying some good heat, but I'm not really looking for it to get real melty and start dripping on me, because I don't really want to watch two things at one time. So just by rolling this up there, keeping that ropey texture, then it lets me focus on this glass rod so I can see when I have enough to add, then I'll add it. I'm going to add one more little bit, and then what I'm going to do is I sort of just balanced out what I had. And then what I'm going to do is probably switch hands. And then we're just going to melt. So as long as you see a little bit of that ropey texture, you know it's not soft enough yet to actually try to shape it. So I'm just going to keep going until I see that almost disappear. And then I'm going to use my graphite paddle to just sort of give it a little bit of a push. So I'm just, you know, it loses heat really quick. So it's not like you can do a whole lot at one time. You got to just put the heat in it, then use the paddle, then get it back in, and keep that repeating that process until you get it the shape you want. So I usually keep my paddle in my hand right below the flame, so that I don't lose so much heat going up and down. So you know, when I'm actually shaping something, I usually keep that paddle right up underneath. So then I'm going to go right down here. Are you watching this, Roy?
I am watching.
Okay. You know, if you want to shape it a little differently, you just put a little heat in it, and then I can use that to sort of angle a little bit. So as long as you get the glass soft enough, you can actually really kind of do some changing of shapes and you see that glow, that fire, that soda flare? It's that orange ball of light around it. That's telling you you're right in the flame. If you see it underneath, I'm riding on top of the flame. Yeah. If you see it like this, then I'm riding below it. Okay, so, you know, like I said, you could add another color, you could put dots on it at some point, but I think we're good, right, with that?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So, I put the annealer on, not that I really...
I heard it.
Huh? Okay, so we'll just stick this over. Which one's on this one?
That one.
Okay, ta-da!
Let's talk about that real quick. She made it look so easy. You put it in the annealer. So let's talk about that.
Okay, the annealer is basically a little kiln that has like oven door situation, which is used to when you're doing flame working. So you don't have to open the lid of a kiln and put something down in. Annealing is a process that holds the glass at whatever the annealing temperature is. In my case, it's around 950 for that glass. It holds it at that temperature just long enough to sort of even it out, make it all one even temperature, and then that's at the point that that whole little piece of glass reaches that 950 degrees. That's the point that it is like supposedly relieved of all stress. So that's what we're doing in that situation.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
All right.
So now you're up, huh?
Oh, man.
Okay. So do you remember everything?
Yeah, I committed all that to memory.
Okay. I'm going to move this over for you.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to help you.
Good.
So you don't need those. You
No,
need
I don't
the
need
others.
those.
So
I
you
need
could
the
put
others.
the
We're
plastic.
going to show you too with our own little Dynamium screen so you can see what Roy and Val are seeing through their glasses.
All right, so I got these.
Yeah, those will make you look like a bug.
I know. This is pretty cool.
Okay, so
All right.
I don't want to put this in front, but you can grab your mandrel. Okay,
can
so
grab the mandrel.
I'll light this, and then
Oh, you gotta light it for me.
well, yeah, I'll go through it, and then
Thanks.
do you want me to turn it off and let you do it then, or are you just gonna
Nah, we'll just let you.
just leave it on?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, pick your colors. You're going to use the soft glass,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
So I just put, now if there's another color you'd rather have, I could go get it.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I can find something in there.
And those colors?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is really, get that, the end of that.
That's what I want.
This is the metallic black. It's kind of fun to use because it gets kind of shiny, silvery. Yeah, so it's kind of fun.
All right, I'll use that
You
one.
can use that one. Okay. All right. So here we have a bunch of knobs, and green is always oxygen, and the red always stands for gas. So there are sometimes people will run these torches off of like natural gas, which you can do that. We tend to not. We use the propane because it's just easy. You can exchange a tank everywhere nowadays. So propane tanks under the table. That's what my gas is. So the red is for the gas and the green is for the oxygen tanks over here. So these knobs here are what we call like the outer rings. This torch head has like a set of outer rings and then a set of inner rings. And so the inner rings, when you just use that, it's a smaller, less hot situation. If you're doing something bigger and maybe boro that needs much more firepower, then you can use these to pull in the outer rings. So you sort of have double the, But Roy's using soft glass, so we do not need that kind of firepower. So, my goodness. Yeah, so I'm going to light these back knobs are going to be my smaller fire. So I'm going to put my match up here, and then I turn my propane on. I don't want to turn my propane on first and then bleed that into the room. Just even for a few seconds, you'll smell it. And so I like to reserve that smell for when I have a leak. So I always have my match ready in front, or whatever you're using to light with, in front before you turn your gas on. And then your gas is lit immediately and you don't have that smell. That makes sense,
Yep,
right?
that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pump that's my gas fire. That's just the propane.
So you just added more gas, is what
I
you
just
did,
I
right?
just
So-
turned the gas up just a little bit to get a little bit longer length. So you're gonna not need much, but I'm gonna go right about there. And then when the green knob now, I'm gonna bring my oxygen in. So that's the order I light it. Light the propane and add in the oxygen. And then when we turn it off, we're gonna do the opposite. We're gonna take out the oxygen, always coming back to just your gas fire, and then you're going to turn your gas off. But so I'm just going to, and sometimes when I get I don't get my flame right, I'll always just take the oxygen out, look at this, how big my gas flame is, and then that sort of helps me adjust if I didn't like what I was seeing, because I'm not used, to be honest, on this torch, I'm not used to wimpy small little flames. So I think that, see, that's still too big. Let's try that. I just don't want you to have so much heat that you're...
Yeah, no.
Okay, so you see how that changed now that it has the oxygen in it? And that's still
Nice.
a pretty hot little fire. So, all right, so here's this. You can grab your...
What do I need?
You need a mandrel.
Need a mandrel.
You probably need me to move over, but hang on a second.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm gonna get behind you.
Okay. You want to...
Are you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Right, so I'm sitting, I'm good. I got this one, because you said I could
Yeah,
use
and
this
you know,
one.
too, you got to make it your own. You got to, move some stuff around, because if you
Right,
don't,
that's in my way.
I don't want you reaching in, you don't want to reach in
Oh,
front
you
of the
don't wanna reach
fire.
in front of the fire,
So
that
if you
makes
think you're going to go that direction, pull stuff off to the right or the left or whatever you want to
All
do,
right.
but don't leave
Good.
stuff in the middle that you have
Nice.
to get. Okay,
So, warm
yeah.
up the mandrel.
You're already doing it wrong. No. I'm teasing you, but it's like, try to hold it like you're going to throw a dart,
Oh.
and then choke up. Yeah, it makes you, doesn't it feel better?
Oh, that's much better.
Okay, and choke up on this a little bit.
Choke up on this one.
Yeah.
That's good.
The heat doesn't radiate out.
That's surprising, right?
It's surprising,
Nice.
right? You can put your hands like
Yeah,
so
like,
close to it.
Yeah, right here. You can't even.
Oh,
it's
you
warm,
could go
but-
closer even, way
Ooh,
closer.
it's warm.
See?
Nice.
So you don't have to worry about it. And then the stainless steel and the glass are not conductors of heat. So the heat isn't going to start climbing up
climbing
to
up
catch
and
your
burning my
hand.
fingers.
No,
So I can. So you.
basically,
I can
as long
choke
as you
up
don't touch something that was in the fire, you're going to be fine.
All right. I'll
Okay,
try,
so
I'll try
now
not
just
to.
kind of dab it down.
This one?
Dab the glass down in the flame. Yeah,
Like this?
because it's soft glass. You want to kind of wake
Give it
it
a
up a
chance
little
to
bit so you
warm
don't
up.
shock it like crazy.
And I'm out here, right? Not like super
I
close. Or,
wouldn't worry
you know,
about it. Yeah, I think you're good. But at the same time you're doing that, you could put that mandrel up
Like
above,
right?
and then now you think you could probably just hold it in there now in the flame and roll it.
glass?
Uh-huh.
All right.
And get your mandrel. Your mandrel's really not in there.
Sorry.
There you go. Because this is going to heat it up way quicker than mine did.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
drop your hand like that. Look at me, like that. See how it'll fall on itself.
Oh yeah.
So twist, yeah, but keep your, yeah. Okay, now get your mandrel going. This is kind of the part that's like patting your head,
Oh
rubbing
my
your
gosh,
stomach.
I was just gonna say it is totally. I'm getting this big ball. Of glass.
Okay,
I'm
now
gonna
just
lose
drop
it.
below the fire. Don't freak out.
Oh, geez, okay.
Just let it. No, it's okay. Wind it. It's okay. Yep. Now stretch it away a little bit. You want to draw it away. Now just stop and bring it back up into the flame. Now just perfect.
Wow. Yeah. Look how lopsided it is.
Well, that's okay. I mean, the deal is just to get it on there. Then you can move it around, and it takes a little practice. So you did actually that really good. Now, don't let that get too hot.
Don't let that get too hot. Oh, this is too hot.
No, that's okay. Yep.
Oh, I'm just.
Yep,
like
and draw.
that.
You're right. That's good, but just don't get it stuck. Now bring both hands up. Yep.
Ooh, thanks.
Yeah.
Really quick, because I did put the titanium shield over my phone. So can you talk about what you're seeing through your glasses and now what they're seeing through the shield?
Yeah, we're seeing a mandrel with glass on it, and Roy's putting it. Yeah, it just the didymium lenses. Basically, what they do is they filter out a certain spectrum of light, and so by doing that, it makes that makes that soda flare. That soda flare can get so bright you can't even see through it. So when you put the glasses on, it'll cancel that out, and you can actually see what you're doing. So I don't know if they could tell.
Oh yeah, you can tell the
Okay,
difference.
on
I see
the
a difference.
video, but that's what the glasses are for. We had the soda flare in the hothead. It's just not as bright. So the bigger and hotter
this
you
is
go,
bright.
the brighter that becomes, and then didymiums become more essential. Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah, it's like really like.
Okay, now just put the glass down and switch hands, and then soften this, and
Put the glass down.
yeah, and then just get it soft. Remember, if it's ropey, you're not soft enough yet.
Yeah, I'm not
so
soft.
just, but see how much, I don't know if anybody can tell, but it's so much faster with this torch.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, now go ahead. Don't get it too soft. Go ahead, and I usually drop below the fire.
Oh,
So
I got you. You did say that. Oh,
That's okay. It's just, it's just, and it's real soft, so you can just kind of do a light. It'll take you a little time to get the feel of it,
Yeah, it does.
but it's a little, the shape is a little weird, but you can put it back
it's
in,
definitely
and
a little weird.
so you can always add more to it, or you can move a little bit if you get it soft enough and kind of slide it on the paddle,
So it's like I got more glass on one side than
how
the
you can
other
do that though.
side.
See how if you just kind of, yeah, I think that you're good. That's really good. See how you could move it around. The
Oh,
biggest
yeah.
mistake people make is with the graphite paddle is they don't get the glass hot enough. And none of this is a muscling thing. You're not forcing anything. You always want your glass to be soft enough that it rolls easy. That's awesome.
Wow, look at that.
Look at you.
Well, I have
You're
such
getting
a.
a lot of likes right now.
I have such a good teacher.
Right.
Just do a little sucking up in case. I need that.
So,
Now,
whatever you want to do. You can add more. You could be done. It's, up to you.
I want to add some more.
Okay, so get it
Do you
out of
switch
that.
hands?
Get it out of that hot.
Oh, yeah.
See, if you're not going to use
No.
the paddle, then don't let it get that glowing, because the only reason you ever get it that
Oh.
hot is because you want to move the glass around. If you're not going to, just putting it out there and letting it chill, getting a little darker just makes your life easier, right? You're not worrying about that dripping and this
Yeah,
dripping,
yeah.
and
No.
you're going to add the same color.
Gail says you make it look
Yeah,
easy.
job.
Well, I've seen it done a million times. Am I going to add this? I'm just going to add in the same thing. Oh, yeah, I could add a second color. It's too late now.
Well, no, you just put that down and get another color. It's not a big deal.
Okay, let's put the orange on there.
Okay, I think you kind of, yeah.
Is that, am I too cold?
No, that's the idea too. Well, you know, because you do have some knowledge. And
Yeah,
so,
I have some.
you know, is the bigger amount of mass you have, the longer it'll hang on to the heat. So the more you can get away with taking it out for a few seconds here and there.
Like
And I don't,
getting
you know,
a
your glass
shoulders workout.
rod your glass rod can just be rolling. It doesn't have to be that kind of frantic turning.
What are you talking about? thought I was rolling it smoothly. You're saying I'm not?
Well, no, I just roll back and forth. I mean, you don't
just
have to
go-
make it hard on yourself.
I thought I had
yeah.
to roll it the whole way.
Okay, don't get your bead
Wait,
too
don't get
hot.
too hot.
Okay, no, that's good. You're doing good. Okay,
What were you gonna say?
nothing.
You were gonna say something?
I whined the other way,
Oh,
but you didn't get in trouble. And I don't. Everybody should do it the way they
I'm just
want.
gonna leave
you know?
an orange stripe down the middle.
Okay. All right, then you're done, right?
That's it. But I gotta like flatten it out or something.
Oh, you're gonna flatten it out.
I think so. No, you want me to leave it like
Well, I
that?
thought you meant you wanted to leave it like an orange stripe around the middle.
Yeah, but not like raised.
Not raised, okay.
Yeah. I don't think.
Okay, you're plenty hot. Yeah.
Ew. So how do I get it all metallic-y looking? It just does it on its own?
Well, we could reduce it a little bit. So reducing will just simply mean to take out some of the oxygen, put it out further, way out more further, because we're not trying to. So just
you
kind
can
of
see
put,
that.
put
Yeah,
it
I
at the
see
top
that.
of the, where it's just bit, not quite. A little further out. Is it reducing?
I think so. isn't
Yeah.
it?
Okay. Okay, so then you
You can't
can,
even see the shine on camera.
okay, good. Okay,
Whoa.
you can be done.
All right. Ooh.
All right.
It's not shaped all that great, but
It's all right. Go put it in your
You're so
kneeler.
welcome, Janine. It says, thank you for sharing. I am looking for a new hobby.
Oh my, this is a good
Well,
one.
we are here to help.
Okay.
all right.
What time is it? Do we want to do anything else, or
So we've been about a half hour.
are we good then?
I don't know.
What do you
you
want
want
me
to
to
do
do?
a quick
Which one
marble?
do? Sure.
Yeah, let's do a
it.
quick marble. Well, why don't you do a quick marble?
Why don't you do a quick
Yeah.
marble?
Yeah.
Okay, would you
Oh,
move
you gotta
that
move
for me?
this.
I don't like that stool.
That's all right.
This is my stool.
There's yours.
I don't know.
Great. Are you
Okay,
good?
so
I'm
we're
ready.
gonna do.
Come on the other side of you. If that's
Okay,
all right.
we're gonna do a marble in. We're gonna do the borosilicate in a marble. So.
So you said it earlier, but I just want to point it out again, right? So normally, like the glass that I just used is what we refer to as a soft marble, right? So
A soft
soft
glass?
glass. So yeah, marble.
I was gonna say, no,
my
that's
brain
really
was
not.
already on the marble, but on soft glass. So like it's they call it Italian or Fetre, or does it have different names? And,
Yeah, I mean it's 104 is
Yeah,
what that.
104 is the COE
is
of the
that,
glass,
yeah.
for those of you that know what that means. And then, but now you're going to use a hard glass, right? The borosilicate, which
Correct.
has a really low COE.
Yeah, so this is 33. So that's quite a ways away for any of you. I mean, I'm sorry. You could explain the coefficients if you want.
Yeah,
While
so
Roy does that, we'll show them what Val makes with the Boro.
Okay.
so what we say is when it comes to the coefficient of expansion, that's what the abbreviation COE stands for. What we're referring to is how the glass expands when it heats up, and so the higher the number, we say the softer the glass. So again, as Val mentioned, the glass that I used was 104 COE, so a pretty soft glass. So it should melt a little easier. That's why even using that hothead torch works pretty well.
Right.
But
That's what all of these are.
but the borosilicate is only 33 COE, so much lower, so it requires more heat. That's one reason why you have to really use one of these torches that has oxygen and propane, so you can get a hotter flame.
Janine is asking where she can purchase the glass.
Wow, thanks Janine for asking the question, but what a coincidence. You can buy it here at Delphi. So we actually have a really nice selection of both glasses, right? Of the of the 104
I'm not sure they can buy
or
the Boro online anymore.
Man. Well, in the store here, we have a lot. Well, we sell the borosilicate, all the clear, online. It comes in rods or tubes. And in the store at the Delphi Creativity Center here in Lansing, Michigan, We sell the borosilicate color. We sell it's made by North Star. We sell it by a quarter pound or a single piece. Same thing with the Moretti or the Italian 104. You can buy that online, and we do sell it either single rods or quarter pounds.
I just redid this because I kind of thought I can't make it. I don't want to make it too big. It'll take too long.
Oh.
So I'm just bent. This is just a clear. And I just bent it over. Okay, I just bent it over. And then I want to just make sure, it's kind of always, in class I always say, you know, we're going to make a little, it's like making it look a little bit like a candy cane, you know. But there are like about probably a million ways to make different kinds of marbles.
Eric says it is online. He buys it.
Oh, seriously? Good. The color? Okay.
Let's see. We're waiting for that answer.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, no one's talking to me. What's happening? Sorry, my nose itches. Anyway, so I melted that and bent it over. And then what I want to do is just put a little fire at the end just to make sure they're stuck. Because sometimes if I don't really add a little extra heat down there, it actually wasn't really stuck to the one underneath it. And then it can spring open again when you're doing that. And I'm going to put color in those grooves. So that would mess up my color if I did that.
Yes,
So
Eric says yes to the color. And yes, Janine, we will put the address in for you as well as soon as we're done with the video.
well, how lovely. Okay, I'm going to put, this is, I think, black. I'm not sure, but I think so. And I'm just going to tack it into that corner and then just stripe that color down in that crevice. So since I have a little more, I'll just do it again and then just kind of, then once I've done that, that's one side, right? I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to do my orange on the opposite side in the crevice, just like I did before.
So one thing we haven't really touched on too much was about the risk of thermal shock, right? The risk of being outside of the flame too long. And the glass, if it cools off too quickly, it will crack. I mean, that's one of the advantages of the Boro, perhaps? Not necessarily?
It actually is. Boro is not as shocky or does not respond as extreme to temperature change, which is what it is. You know, so the Boro doesn't really care that much how quickly I shove it into the fire. However, that is, people do think it's impossible to crack it, and as you well know, it is not.
You can crack it, yeah.
You can crack it. So, you know, if I'm working on this, and then I'm just going to stripe some clear over that color that I just did. You know, if I were working on this candy cane, because it happens in class, and somebody's, you know, puts it out here, and they're looking around over here, and it ends up being a minute or two, and this temperature drops too much, and then they shove it back into the hot part of the flame, they will crack it, or sometimes even kind of blow it apart. So it's not like soft glass in any means, but you still have to be a little careful once you're getting all these folds and everything. That sometimes creates what they call apexes, and then it can really be a little more shocky. But for the most part, it really is pretty forgiving in that regard. So I'm just putting clear over the color. So I don't know if you can kind of tell. I'm going to put another stripe. And see, I'm a soft glass. I mean, I started in soft glass. So even though I know I could do this and I have quite a bit of time, I'm always still just keeping a little heat on things. And that's probably more from my soft glass background, but it sure never hurts, you know. So you're not going to end up, I'm not worried too much about it, but I'm just kind of keeping it up. I might as well, instead of keeping it down here or something, I might as well just keep it up here where it's ready for me to add to, right? So
yeah, I mean, you're not getting it hot enough to change the shape or anything
No,
like that.
no,
You
no,
just
no.
need to keep it warm so it doesn't.
right. So
shock.
I just kind of, I don't know if you can tell, but I made the candy cane, right? Well, then I put the color in the creases, and then I put a couple layers of clear over the color. So basically what I'm trying to do is bury that color down in the middle, which is pretty much, you know, but the more clear I put around and over everything, the deeper that color is going to go. So now what I'm going to do is I usually just use this as a handle, and I'm going to attach this handle to this side over here. I'm kind of purposely putting some heat in it. I'm not really needing it to be all melted quite yet, but it takes a while with this Boro to build the heat. So that's another reason I don't completely ever leave it out for very long, because I really don't want to spend a lot of time putting in heat that I already had in there, you know, so I already had the heat in there. So now what I'm doing is, this is it. Just put a handle on it, and I'm just turning, and all I'm doing is just trying to pound the heat in there to get it, because it's going to take a little while to get it before it's going to get soft enough. And this is where sometimes in class I tell people, this is the part that's sort of like watching paint dry. You know, you think it's not doing anything, you think it's not doing anything, and then all of a sudden, you know, it'll start flowing together. So when I think it's getting to the point where it's going to twist, so my twist and kind of push together a little bit. So I don't know if you can kind of see that spiral in there.
A little bit.
I can see. If I got the fancy glasses on.
So depending on, you know, how tight you want to get that is how much you twist. So I do a little bit, and then I got to move down. Can you see it there? See that?
Yep, sure can.
Okay. So just keep going with it. I got to heat this next section, and same thing, kind of push it together as it gets soft. I want a little more twist.
So you're twisting both rods at the same time?
Yeah, you don't have to. You can really just twist one. I got to get that middle a little bit hotter.
Looks like a nice twist.
So I'm also in my head, you know, thinking about a marble shape. Can you tell I'm starting to get a little fatter? So with every turn, just very slightly, I'm just pushing it together. So now when I get to this point, in order to, sorry, but I got to put my glasses up. When I get to this point, I'm just making a little one, right, because of time. But I got to take one of the handles off, because I can't work the shape with the handle on. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking off one of the handles, and I have quite a bit of glass there. I need, hang on a second. Need some more firepower here.
Because you have more mass, right? More
Right,
glass. So.
right, and this is Boro, not soft glass. So what I'm going to do is just kind of start on the tip. What I'm going to do with this one is, because I have so much clear down here, I'm going to just kind of heat the tip. I'm going to take some of that off, just because I don't need that much on the end. So I just pinch a little bit. I like that sound, so that's my bucket of water that's always good to have on your bench. Can you see? So I don't know if you can see now, but see how it's rounding up a little bit? So I'm just kind of watching it. You can see the spiral a little better now. Got my angle so that as the glass melts, it's kind of falling down over itself, which is what I'm trying to do to get that marble to shape itself. People think that the marble molds are like you just melt and stick it in there, and you really want 90% of your shape already done before you use a marble mold.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought you were just going to get a mold and just stick it in there, but
no.
But yeah, you pointed out is the angle at which you're holding the rod, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're not holding it horizontal; you're
It allows
holding it up.
the glass to sort of flow down. So now what I want to do is
That's pretty round already.
I need a shorter one. Of course, I don't have it. I want to put a handle on this end now, and the handle I'm going to put on there is going to be what we call a temporary handle, because I'm going to need to knock it off afterwards. So I'm just going to heat this end of this, and this end of this rod has already been used. So otherwise, if it hadn't been, I would have tweezered off that end. But so a temporary goes something like this. You're going to put this in there and get that puntee a little bit hot. I want to make sure the marble has some heat in it, but it doesn't. I really don't need it to be glowing. And when that tip starts to stop glowing, I stick it on and then pull it back. And that is supposed to be one that I can knock off and not have to melt off, hopefully. So now I'm going to melt this side off so I can shape this side. So depending on how much I need, I might tweezer some of that off too, but I'm just going to leave a little bit. I don't think I actually need all that, but what I'm doing when I do these, and they're not always exact, believe me, but I'm kind of cutting that marble in half with my view, and then I know that's the center point of the marble. So I'm trying to recreate that amount on this side, if that makes any sense. It's not just sort of blind guessing. I really am trying to mirror that one half. I think I need to take some of that off. Maybe not all of it, but some of it. So same idea. Now I just have to melt that down. So same idea. I'm just keeping the flame on the end of the marble. I'm not doing anything like that. It's just keeping that right on the top of it so that it can flow down. And I'm watching it and watching it. I don't want to go too far because then you'll get a flat deal. So this is always when this doesn't actually fit in one of the spots, it makes it a little harder to shape, and this is a little too small for the middle one, and I think a little too small for this, but this is the hole on this one's a little too small, but I'm kind of, so, not even too bad.
Oh, it looks pretty round.
Yeah, so it's, could be, I won't spend a lot of time, but I'll show you, hopefully. Then what I'm going to do is I want to knock this off. So I am going to put it in the smaller one just to sit there because I may have to fire polish. But you don't want it sitting down in the graphite because it'll just suck the heat out of it. And it could do it too fast that, and it left I was a little hot. My marble was a little hot when I did that. So we just got to heat that nub down.
So it naturally just flows back down, and
yeah.
I mean, glass wants to be round when it's molten anyways, so.
Right. So once I've done this,
nice.
It could be a little flatter, but it's okay for the demo. It'll work. Okay, so then this would go in an annealer for the same reason we talked about a little earlier. It needs to reach that. For this, it's going to be 950. So I didn't set one. I mean, 1050 for the Boro. I didn't set it, but we'll just put it in here anyway because it'll probably be fine. I'm just waiting for it to not glow because I don't want it to pick up the fiber and stick in there. So once the glow's sort of almost gone, it's still really hot. I'll just lay it in there. Okay.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Nice job.
Oh,
That
yeah.
Nice job.
You too. You did a good job. Okay, well, that's sort of the intro to what we do out here in the Flameworking room. Yeah. So if you have questions, let us know. Otherwise, we're done?
Yeah.
So
I think that's it.
suggestions would be nice too. We always enjoy that. It gives us a focus.
Yeah, if you want to see more advanced stuff on the torch, I mean, Val would be happy to show you. I volunteered her. But,
Thanks. Yeah.
but
Sure.
I think we're going to be doing mosaics. I think soon is what one of the suggestions we got. So I think in a couple weeks, is that what we're saying?
Probably, yep. We've also got Glass Getaway coming up.
Oh, Glass Getaway coming up. That's right.
Oh, and I do
yeah,
have
So we won't be.
I do have an online class too.
That's right. We're doing something brand new. Well, in Flameworking, so we're doing a Zoom Flameworking class. So that is scheduled for July 25th. I think it's like 1 o'clock Eastern time. But one of the advantages to sign up for the class is that you will have access to the class afterwards and can view it as many times as you like.
And you don't have to be present at the time.
You don't have to be present to about it, but it's going to be Val and going through it. And
I think is it going to? We haven't even talked about it. Is it going to be on the hothead, or is it going to be?
we haven't. Yeah,
Really?
it's going to be on the hothead.
Oh, it is.
I think that's what we should do. I think we should make it real basic.
Okay.
So, because the plan is to have other Zoom Flameworking classes coming out as we get more advanced. So, look for that in July.
Okay, good.
And
Visit
thanks.
delphiglass.com/classes for all of our classes.
Yep.
And we can link it in the comment section below as well.
Yeah, thanks
Okay,
for joining us.
awesome. Thanks.